Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. More transfer updates, very busy couple of days. This is what you wanted to see. This is what you love to see. Quick deals, medicals, the transfers confirmed. This is what you want to see. And Eze is in the news now. Breaking news on Eze. We'll be talking about that. Kudus is back on the news. Valencia defender that we're about to sign, and many others. So let's get through it. And hopefully we do get these deals done, because this is what is exciting now. Like if you get someone like an Eze, this is what would be exciting. According to Ben Jacobs, Arsenal have added Eberechi Eze to their list of left-wing targets. Eze also being considered by Spurs. He has a 68 million release clause in his Palace contract. Rodrigo also remains of interest. Real winger will discuss his future with Xabi Alonso before deciding whether to explore an exit. Real prepared to sell for around 90 million, which is around 77 million pounds, around that. So according to Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook. So Eze is in the news. I remember saying a week ago, my transfer list was to get Gyökeres, get a left winger. At first, I was like, whichever, whether it's Nico Williams or Rodrigo or Lookman, whoever. That is number 2. Get me a left winger. My number 3 signing was going to be either a number 10 or number 8, an attacking number 8 who's going to, help Odegaard in the 10 role, and also in the number 8 role, someone who can attack, depending on how the game goes, whether it's a 0-0 game, we can have 5 attackers on the pitch at the same time. That would have been my third signing. I was looking at Rodgers and Eze, as I mentioned a week ago. And then number 4 would have been a midfielder, someone like Azumendi, all good. And then number 5, also, you needed a backup goalkeeper, and I also wanted a backup defender. Those would have been my 6 signings this particular transfer window. So for the attacking midfield, it could either be an attacking midfielder who can also play on the right wing to help out Stuck on that side, or maybe just use Nwaneri there, since you already have an attacking midfield and Odegaard in the new signing. Those would have been my 6 signings. So far we've gotten the goalkeeper, the defender, the midfielder, but we still haven't done anything in terms of our forward players. Actually, the forwards that we had last season, now we have less since Sterling has left. Now we actually have less forward players than we had last season, which is crazy. So someone like an Eze is an exciting signing. Kepa, 5 million goalkeeper backup. That's a signing that I'm like, okay, fair signing. 5 million backup goalkeeper, that's a good signing. Mosquera from Valencia, good signing. Backup for Saliba and Gabriel, absolutely good signing, but not an exciting signing. You rarely have defenders who are exciting signings. I don't think there's ever been a defender who's an exciting signing, unless it's a fullback who goes forward. You rarely see defenders who are exciting signings. But when you start getting attacking midfielders and strikers, I remember back in 2009, waiting to see what the Ashavina signed for Arsenal and all that. Those are exciting signings. This would be an exciting signing. As an attacking player who can play as a left winger, he can play in the number 8 role, and he can also play the number 10 role. This would be an absolute exciting signing. Now, if we sign Eze, I don't think we also sign Rodrigo, though, because the Rodrigo ball is not in our court. Rodrigo is a case of waiting for whether he's going to leave, waiting for whether Real Madrid are going to, want to let him go. But for Eze, this is a player who's wanted by Tottenham. I mean, I wouldn't be happy if you just let him go, to Tottenham that easily. No, this is a player that you should be trying to get. And from what I'm hearing, he's already said yes to Arsenal, which is absolutely incredible. So Eze would be an exciting signing. And if you look at his numbers and in terms of goals and assists, last season, 43 games, 14 goals, 11 assists. That is a very good return, considering he also missed a few games here and there because of injury. The previous season, 17 goal returns. The previous season, 14 goal returns. So it's always a player who's scoring more than 10 goals. And last season, the way he finished the season was absolutely incredible. He scored the winning goal against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. He scored against us at the Emirates Stadium. I think he scored twice against Tottenham. So I think he had 7 or 8 goals in the last 7-8 games. So he finished the season on a very high note. So Premier League experience is there. Crystal Palace are happy to sell him. Eze is happy to move on. Not like the Rodrigo situation where you have to wait and see whether Rodrigo wants to leave. Does Madrid want to sell him? No, this is a player that I would take 100%. Now, Rodgers was my first option in terms of that role, but Eze 100%. If Eze is available for that kind of money, you would take him 100%. Now, that is not the only update on Eze. This is where now you have to be there for him. It's not just the 68 million. Let's go through more updates. According to Team News and Ticks, Eberechi Eze is one of the plans at Arsenal. However, it's unclear if he's first choice or backup option. Arsenal have already agreed personal terms with Eze, and the player wants the move. absolutely exciting. The player wants to move just like Gyökeres, just like the other players we've talked about. And whether it's a first choice or backup option, I mean, I've just told you guys, for me, it was Rogers' first option as a backup option, but Eze can very quickly become the first option because of how good he is. I mean, you would take him in the blink of an eye, man. I would actually even pay 70, 80 million for him, let alone the 68 million. And the 68 million becomes even better when we talk about the next thing that you're going to talk about. So he's in the plans for Arsenal. That is great. It's great to see Arsenal being linked to these forward players. You know, there's some transfer windows where we are never linked to any of these players. So far, we are linked to exciting players like this. Hopefully, Saka's done a bit of scouting for Arsenal in terms of getting Eze to Arsenal. They're also together recently at a Formula One event. So Saka's done a bit of scouting there for us to try and get Eze at Arsenal. Now, it's not just 68 million. It's not just that. This is why it even gets more exciting. Now, Eberechi Eze's 68 million release cost can be paid in 3 installments of 20 million with 8 million in add-ons. You just have to be there. You just have to be there. When you start hearing things about 68 million, 20 million installments, you just have to be there. Like that could be like 3-year installments. You have to be there for him. Like that would help you save money. For a strike and other players that you're trying to sort out, you know, that will help you save in terms of the wages. That will help solve the headache for this season, you know, whichever other positions you're trying to sort out, and you get a very exciting player who's already ready, and a player who's versatile, and a player who, you know, he can score goals and assists. His numbers are very, very good. And one thing I absolutely love about Eze is where he can carry the ball and create chances. And number two, the fact that he can shoot the ball. You know, when Saka cuts in from the right side, when Nwaneri cuts in from the right side, they shoot the ball, and they end up being incredible goals. Sometimes, not all the time, obviously, but they can turn and shoot the ball. So defenders usually have to be worried about that. Now on the left wing, we don't really do that. Martinelli and Trossard don't really cut into the right foot and shoot the ball. Rarely, you never see Martinelli like shooting the ball top corner or something. You never really see that. Trossard's style of play is also different. Gets into the box, maybe cuts back to his left foot, then right foot, then maybe tries to create something or tries to shoot the ball sometimes with his left foot. Doesn't always cut into his right foot. But Eze, this is a player who, if you give a chance outside the box, it's going to be a goal. As we saw him scoring against us, not once. He also scored a free kick against us last season, I'm pretty sure, at the Emirates. I think he scored both times at the Emirates. The last 2 seasons at the Emirates, he scored in both of them. And he's a very good big game player as well. Scores in big games against big teams. It's in London. It doesn't have to move too much. Tottenham are the rivals, therefore, for the signing, we should be able to get someone like an S. This would be an exciting signing, and it allows you not to wait for, Rodrigo. What decision is he going to make? I would love to get Rodrigo for sure, but the ball is not in our court. They can say Rodrigo is going to make a decision in August, and then what? We are going to have to wait to play against Man United and Liverpool first, and then you lose the first 2-3 games, and then you start looking for Rodrigo. We don't have that time. We want our signings to be in before it's too late, because we have tough games coming up, even starting from pre-season with AC Milan and Newcastle and those guys, into the season with Man United and Liverpool and all those guys. You have to be ready. So Eze would be an absolutely exciting signing. I would 100% take him. I would take him for the 68 million cash right away, let alone 20 million in installments. That one, I think it's a no-brainer. You have to try and get him. So Eze, as confirmed here by Tinies and Ticks, Eze, Arsenal and Eze have already agreed personal terms. So Eze is happy to join Arsenal. Now it's all about whether Arsenal is going to decide to pay that 68 million or, the negotiations with Crystal Palace. So that is exciting. Those are the kind of news updates we want to hear. Forward players. Now, Kudus. What's the latest on Kudus? According to Sammy Mokbel, who's also very, very good in terms of Arsenal news, it wouldn't shock me if Arsenal have made an inquiry for Mohammed Kudus, because there's been interest there in the past. My information on Kudus is that all of the top 6 in the Premier League have checked on conditions on that deal. He's got an 85 million release clause for Premier League clubs, but I think West Ham would be willing to take below that. There is a long-term interest there, and maybe that is one to watch in the absence of getting Rodrigo or Gordon. So we did the live show earlier, and I told you guys, exciting to get Rodrigo. That would be my first option. I would have taken Nico Williams for sure. I would have taken Gordon if he's like 40, 45 million. I would take him. But those can't be your only options, because you already know Nico Williams wants to join Barcelona, so you cannot just sit there and just wait for Nico Williams. We already know it's tough to work with Newcastle. They've just won a trophy as well. They're in the Champions League. There's not no a need for them to sell players like Isaac or Gordon at all. So you'll be waiting there. And then for Rodrigo, it's not confirmed that he wants to leave Real Madrid or if Real Madrid want to sell him. So you have to have other options. Luckily, we've been told that Bata has spoken to like 6, 7, 8 wingers, including Gordon and Eze and Lukman and all these guys. So that is good. You also have to have other options. So if the other option is players like Eze, if the other options are players like Kudus, I would 100% take this kind of players. Kudus, Rogers, Eze. I don't think we have those kind of players now. Odegaard is still a starter for me next season. He's still a very, very good pass of the ball, still has controls the ball well in midfield, but you already know sometimes like during transitions when you're trying to counter attack, Odegaard is maybe not the player you want in that position. Hopefully he does shoot more next season because we know how good his shots are. But imagine you have Odegaard and Eze there together. Imagine you have Odegaard there with Kudus. Imagine you have Eze there or Odegaard there with Rogers. That is exciting. Games where you are, depending on how the game is going, those games that we are drawing with Everton 0-0 at Emirates Stadium, it gets to 60 minutes. You can take off a defensive midfielder. You throw in Eze as an extra attacker. Or if Odegaard was on the bench in that game, you take off a defender and have Odegaard. So instead of having 4 attackers, you have 5. You have, let's say, Eze on the pitch. You also have Saka on the pitch. You also have Gyökeres or Sesko on the pitch. You also have Odegaard on the pitch. You also have Martinelli Trossard on the pitch. Or depending on how the game is, maybe Eze is the left winger, and then you have both Havertz and a striker on the pitch at the same time. That is what you need to have, multiple options to choose from off the bench. So imagine you look at your bench and you're like, okay, Ben White is on the bench, Calafiori is on the bench, Nogard is on the bench. There's also Mosquera on the bench. There's also Merino on the bench. There's also Trossard on the bench. There's also Martinelli on the bench. There's also Sesko on the bench. Like, that is an exciting bench. Nwaneri is there. Maybe Luis Skelly is there. Like, that is an exciting team to have. Last season, man, we really struggled. There's games where Trossard is not playing well, Odegaard is not playing well, Havertz is not playing well, but we couldn't take them off because there was literally no one on the bench apart from 6 defenders, a youngster, and like 2 goalkeepers. We can't find ourselves in situations like that anymore at all. So Kudus has been linked as well. I think Eze would be ahead of Kudus on my list, and I think Eze is ahead of Kudus on Arsenal's list, especially considering Kudus would be 85 million, even if they take less, it's like 70, and then for Eze it's like installments for that 64 million, 68 million. That is super exciting. Now, there's a deal that you're close to getting done, our 4th signing of the summer so far, and that is Cristhian Mosquera. According to Hand of Arsenal now aiming to close a deal for Cristhian Mosquera for a fee under 19 million euros. So that's like 14 million pounds. Very, very good deal for a 20-year-old defender who's going to back up Saliba. He's a right footer as well. You have a lot of left footers defensively. This is a right footer. Personal terms are not seen as an issue. I think he's a right footer. I'm sure he's a right footer. Hopefully, I'm not saying my own things. I think he's a right footer. Personal terms are not seen as an issue. Still some work to be done, but talks are very advanced. Andrea Bata is aiming to get the player in pre-season if possible. So, yeah, I think this deal will be done very, very quickly. Let me just confirm that I think he's a right footer. Let me just confirm that very, very quickly. Preferred foot. Let's see. He's a right foot player, so yeah, I was not wrong in terms of that. So he's going to be more of a backup for Saliba than Gabriel. So if you still have Kivu in the team, that is exciting, man. Imagine if you have a bench like that, even if you rotate players, you have other options. Let's not forget about players like Declan Rice, Merino, and Kivu, and players like that. Those players are still available. Fabrizio says more on Cristhian Mosquera and Arsenal story. Understand Spanish defender has already given his green light to the move. Mosquera's keen on joining Arsenal. The club has already explained the project. Great news. We are moving quickly now. That is great to hear. Mosquera will be our next signing after Zubimendi, Kepa, and Nogard. Mate Moreto also says Arsenal have an agreement with Cristhian Mosquera on personal terms while negotiations with Valencia are on track. So this one will be done very, very quickly, thankfully. Graham Bailey says Arsenal are in advanced talks with Valencia regarding a move for Cristhian Mosquera, with negotiations specifically structured around paying the fee in installments. Mosquera has a 17 million release clause, although Andrea Bata is working to agree a fee below that. So in terms of the deals, if Andrea Bata, that's why I was very patient with Andrea Bata, as I told you guys. I'm not going to start saying, what is he doing after 2 weeks? No, I'm going to reserve my judgment after the transfer window to see how he's done overall. Because to get Zubimendi and pay him 3 installments, if we manage to get Eze on 3 installments as well, and you get Mosquera for 15 million pounds, less than that, maybe get Kepa for 5 million, you get Nogard for that 10 million, and you still are able to get a strike, and you're still able to get players like Eze, and you've extended Gabriel's contract, and you've extended Lewis Skelly's contract, and positive talks with Saka and Saliba and all those guys, that would be a very, very good transfer window if you get all of that done. That would be a 10 out of 10 transfer window in his first attempt. That would be exciting, and that would be very exciting. Sorting out both quality and also quantity, that would be great. So that's the latest on Mosquera. Arsenal understood to be confident that an agreement can be struck with Valencia for Cristhian Mosquera. This is according to Ryan Taylor Sports. So a lot of updates from different journalists. So let's wait and see. Myles Skelly signed a new contract earlier today. So let's see which position is going to feature for us next. And I think it's still going to be a lot of left back position, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him in midfield a few times, especially if all our players are fit. Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Ben White, all these guys are fit. We might see Lewis Skelly getting opportunities in midfield, which is his actual position. So that is great to see. Real Madrid made inquiries about Myles Lewis Skelly's availability earlier this year in the hope that he would let his contract expire and leave for free in 2026, but the discussions went no further as the player was determined to continue with Arsenal. Things you love to hear. Arsenal through and through wanted to stay at Arsenal. Real Madrid, you keep inquiring all you want. I was very confident about Lewis Skelly staying at Arsenal. I'm very confident about Saka staying at Arsenal as well. I would say I'm 70% confident in Saliba staying at Arsenal, and if you're able to keep all of these players and add to it, then we're moving in the right direction. So yeah, I was very confident with Andrea Bata this transfer window. That's one of the reasons why I was excited about this transfer window, because something fresh. You get someone who's experienced, someone who has connections. That's great. But what about the striker situation? What are we going to be doing about that? RB Leipzig dreams of getting 80 million to 100 million euros for Benjamin Sesko, according to Build Information. However, 70 million euros plus add-ons is seen as more realistic. No concrete offer has been received by the club yet. So they want around between 70 to 90 million pounds, but more realistic plus add-ons would be around like maybe 58 million plus add-ons or 60 million plus add-ons, around that. I think that is what Arsenal are trying to get done, either with Sesko or Gyökeres, around that figure, 60 million pounds, around that, maybe 50 million plus add-ons for later on. Maybe that is what we are trying to do. So I think that is what the delay is. I think if Gyökeres or Sesko are 50 million today, we'd buy them today, but we are playing our cards slowly in terms of that. Listen, I don't mind who's coming first. If you're signing a defender first before a striker, as long as by the time we get to preseason, I look at that, I'm okay. Zubimendi is there. Okay, Mosquera is there, the striker is there, the winger is there, and you're ready to go. Absolutely no problem, because it's a big next season. Because Liverpool are signing players, Man City are signing players. I'm watching Man City right now; they're currently leading 2-1 against Juventus. They don't have the likes of Haaland on the pitch, so they're going to be strong next season. You also have to be strong next season. Last season Liverpool won the title so easily. We were so close to getting into the Champions League final, but the problems that we had in our squad showed against PSG. We can't let ourselves get into that position again. But super exciting to be linked to players like Eze. Hopefully we can get it done. So far it's like 3 signings in like 2 days. That is great. Let's keep going. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next